blocks are there in Minecraft? The Minecraft wiki says there are over 150, but has anyone actually counted? Other popular videos on YouTube say there are as many as 907. And I found a ton of other sources saying anything from 702, 820, and even 1,000. But you know what? Let's end the debate. Let's get the official count. Starting with the most famous Minecraft block, the grass block. But did you know that in the very first version of Minecraft, the grass block was actually unobtainable? It's true, there were only 32 blocks that you could use, and grass was not one of them, even though it did spawn in the world. But when you broke it, you only got dirt. Some other OG blocks are cobblestone, stone, and gravel. But these days, there are lots of other blocks you could find underground, like andesite, diorite, granite. Okay, wait, is it granite or granite? Like, are they different things? And then there are the polished versions of each of those blocks. There are also a ton of stone variants. Stone bricks, chiseled stone. Oh, and you can smelt the stone bricks to make cracked stone bricks. Also, you can smelt stone to make smooth stone. Back when I first started playing Minecraft, there were smooth stone slabs, but not the full block. Does this make me old? Also, while I'm collecting all these stone blocks, I traveled a bit lower to collect deep slate. Because with just this one block, I can craft tons of other blocks. Of course, we have regular deep slate, cobbled deep slate, polished deep slate brick, cracked deep slate tiles, cracked deep slate tiles, and chiseled deep slate. But okay, my inventory is getting full. I need a place to put all these blocks, which means I have to dig out this massive area. And while digging out this area, I found another block, iron ore. And getting coal ore and copper ore were also pretty easy. It's the other 5 ores that will be a bit more difficult. I spent over 20 minutes strip mining for gold ore. Redstone only took about 5 minutes, but I just can't find diamonds. Like, where the heck is it? And now for the hardest one, emerald ore. Okay, so there's this mountain right at spawn, and I'm pretty sure emeralds spawn here. And so began the literal 3 days it took me to dig out enough of this mountain to find a single emerald. Like, if you ever need an emerald, go find a villager. This is absolutely not worth it. But I didn't just need to find 1 ore, I needed to find 10 of them. 1 for the ore block, and then 9 more for each full block. Like a coal block, a redstone block, a lapis block, and an emerald block. This time I got the emeralds from trading with a villager like a normal person. But there are 3 other blocks, iron, copper, and gold, that not only come in block form, but also raw block form. Starting in the 1.17 update, breaking ore blocks dropped a raw ingot, which you can craft into a raw ore block, which honestly has a really cool texture. Oh yeah, and the hardest block to collect, diamond. And you know what? For every single person who subscribes to this video, I will place 1 diamond block in the world. You could make me collect 10, 100, 1,000, maybe even 10,000. I am gonna regret this. The ores have taken me forever, and I still need to get the deep slate ores too. You know what? This caused me so much pain. I'm saving the deep slate ores for later. This would be a huge problem later, because the world border is opening in 12 hours, and I have to be ready, because there are resources out there that are impossible to get in the current world border. And since the border will only be open for 24 hours, I have to get all the blocks I have during that time. If I forget a block outside of the world, I might never be able to complete this challenge. But there's still a bunch of things I can get within the border, like clay blocks and brick blocks. There's also sand and the 4 different types of sandstone: regular, chiseled, smooth, and cut. There's also all of those same blocks, but in red. Honestly, it's more of an orange color, but if it means I have 5 more blocks to add to my collection, hey, I'll take it. Speaking of my count, we have currently collected 51 blocks, and this isn't even half, because most of them are outside the world border. Luckily, it's just about to open, so it's time to explore. I started with finding the 6 biomes that hadn't been in the border. Come here, dark oak wood and dark oak wood leaves. I'll be grabbing some of these cherry trees. I need mangrove wood, leaves, roots, mud, and muddy roots. Did anyone even know that this was a block? Oh yeah, I need to find an acacia biome. There are just so many blocks I need to get in the jungle. The wood, the leaves, podzol, coca beans, bamboo, like a lot of bamboo, and finally a coral reef to get the 5 different types of coral. Oh, actually I need 2 pieces of each coral, 1 normal piece and 1 dried piece. I also need to collect dripstone, moss, kelp, cactus, and a beehive. With only a couple hours left until the border closes, I have to find 2 structures: an ocean monument and an ancient city. Well, that's lucky. This gives me prismarine. Okay, prismarine bricks, dark prismarine, and sea lantern. Oh, and I can't forget the sponge. Well, 2 sponges, 1 wet, 1 dry. I'm gonna dry it out in the coolest way possible. so satisfying. Now finding a deep dark. That wasn't so hard. Is this the part of the video where I say how scared I am? Ah, guys, I'm terrified. Oh no, guys, I accidentally summoned the warden. Ah! Okay, if I actually die to this warden, I'm gonna be super angry. Okay, but I did get the skulk block, the catalyst, and the shrieker. There's one more block here, reinforced deep slate, but unfortunately you can't obtain it in survival Minecraft. So I'm gonna add it to a separate count called the unobtainables. And while skipping from the deep dark, I also came across, oh yeah, a spawner. There are 2 new blocks that people might also think are unobtainable in survival, but actually there's a secret way to get them. But first, we have to find one of the new trail ruins, because we're looking for suspicious sand and suspicious gravel. Oh, and also one of the new decorative pots, but mostly suspicious sand and gravel. And no, you can't collect them with silk touch. First step is spending 2 hours looking for a freaking trail ruin. Like, why? Why are these so hard to find? Okay, then we dig down and you gotta find yourself some suspicious gravel. And then oh shoot, I forgot cobwebs. Okay, so step number 4, I don't know what step we're on, is find cobwebs. Then you come back to your trail ruin. You go back to your suspicious gravel and you put 2 cobwebs underneath your suspicious gravel like this. And then when you break this holding block, they'll all fall down. And after a long wait, and then we just have to find a sand temple and do the same thing with that. Easy squeezy lemon squeezy. Yeah. I quickly got back to spawn just as the border closed again. And I have so many blocks. I also have the beehive, but for now, I need to start a bee farm. Because there are 3 bee-related blocks that I don't have. Honey blocks, honeycomb blocks, and a bee's nest. But didn't I just get the bee's nest? Yeah, the beehive and the bee's nest are different blocks. You can craft one and you find the other in the wild. It's hard, I know. Speaking of hard, let's talk about wood. Let's do a little test. How do you order your wood? There are 10 different types, and let me tell you the correct order they go in. This is not my opinion, this is a fact. Starting with oak. You don't start with oak, then you're a really bad person and should consider killing yourself. Next is dark oak. You got oak, it just makes sense for dark oak to go after. Don't come at me on this one. Next you got birch. It's like the 2nd most common wood type, so yeah, it goes near the front. Then spruce because it's awesome! Speaking of awesome, let's move on to some ugly woods, because they are decidedly unawesome. Jungle, followed by acacia. I'm not explaining myself on this one. And then we go back to awesomeness with the gorgeous red mangrove wood and the pretty pink cherry wood. Oh, and don't forget about the 2 nether woods. Crimson wood, because apparently we need another red wood type. I'm not complaining though, it's kind of my color. And finally, the warped wood, which is actually super awesome and cool, and I love the color. Oh yeah, and not only do I need the log, but there's also the wood, which basically just has the same texture all around the block. There's the strip version of both log and wood. And the plank. Oh, and also the leaves. Oak also has the azalea leaves and the flowered azalea leaves. The mangrove also has the root and the muddy root. I feel like bamboo is also technically wood, so we have to add strip bamboo block, bamboo plank, and bamboo mosaic plank. So glad that they added 1 new block and also 3 identical blocks. And during that time, I milked a bunch of bees until I got enough honey to make a honey block. And then I sheared the bees until I got enough honeycombs to make a honeycomb block. I love this texture so much. And if we had the beehive and the bee's nest, that officially brings us to 143 blocks. I had to double check and then triple check that number. So if I missed a block, please let me know in the comments. But just the wood doubled our count. And we're not even done yet. I still have blocks like the slime block, the bone block, and the magma block. Plus, there's also the blocks you find in an amethyst geode, like amethyst, obviously, calcite, and smooth basalt. There's also budding amethyst, but this is another unobtainable block. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. His name is John, and he's actually a camel. But there are 48 craftable blocks that I need to make. And so, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, for your viewing pleasure, I have put them into song. Furnace blast furnace, a smoker stone cutter, a jukebox and no block a pot, decorative pot redstone lamp, one on and one off, scaffolding loom and a bell, crafting table and anvil, one chiseled, one damaged, a fletching table and a chain, enchantment table, brewing stand, a grindstone smithing table, cartography table and barrel, ender chest, normal chest, composter and a hopper, a dropper, Spencer, a rod, observer, target block, a piston, one sticky, a bookshelf, a lectern, a bomb. There's also a respawn anchor, chiseled bookshelf, and calibrated shrieker. I just didn't know how to fit them into the song. The rest are gonna be a little bit harder to get. The first block I need to get is the conduit. I honestly didn't even know this was a block until researching for this video. Mostly because it's pretty useless. Plus, it takes 9 nautilus shells and a heart of the sea. The heart of the sea can be found pretty easily in buried treasure, whereas the shells can only be acquired from drowns, which took me a long time to get enough of these. But finally, a conduit. The next block is a little bit harder. A lodestone. Technically, you can craft this block with 8 chiseled stone bricks and 1 netherite ingot, but I'm not wasting netherite on a freaking lodestone. I don't even know what the heck this thing does. I know it's something with a compass, and like, who the heck uses a compass? Use your coordinates. But you can sometimes find a lodestone in bastions, so that's where I'll get one. Oh my god, first try! How rare is that? Okay, after looking it up, it appears that there is a 100% chance to find one of these, so I do not feel special anymore. But that's another block off the list. Next is the shulker box, which on this server actually has a craftable recipe, but it is expensive. An entire diamond block, 3 amethyst shards, and 3 crying obsidian. And that's just to make 1 shell. I need 2 of those. Oh, and a chest to make an actual shulker box. Okay, but this block is totally worth it. Shulker boxes are so OP. I also need to make a trap chest, which nobody uses anymore. See, back in the day, trap chests were useful because you couldn't put 2 chests side by side, so you'd have to alternate between chests and trap chests. But since that feature was removed, there's really no use for the trap chest. And even structures like the desert temple that could use the trap chest really don't. But hey, it's still technically in the game, meaning I have to craft it and place it down. I'm also gonna make a cauldron, which might not seem crazy, but this is how I'm gonna store 2 other blocks, water and lava. On Minecraft Bedrock, you can also fill cauldrons with potions. Thank goodness that's not a feature on Java, or I would have to brew every single potion too. But luckily, I only have to get water and lava. But not only is Bedrock a version of Minecraft, but it's also a block in Minecraft, an unobtainable block. Add it to the count. Another reason I'm happy that I played Java Edition and not Bedrock Edition is because now I have to fight the Wither. And in case you don't know, fighting the Wither on Bedrock is super hard, but in Java, it's pretty easy. In order to make a beacon, you need a nether star, which only drops for a Wither, which I need to spawn in with soul sand and Wither skulls. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Boom! Beacon! Oh my god, I am so dumb. I've had coral blocks this entire time, and I forgot to put them down. So that adds 10 blocks to our count, which officially brings us to 206 blocks. Wow. Now, there are 3 main categories of blocks that I've been avoiding: ores, nether blocks, and environment blocks. Let's just start with the last category, beginning with something super easy that I almost forgot about: the different dirt variations. I can't believe that I'm getting dirt this late into the video, but we got podzol, coarse dirt, and mycelium. Then using normal dirt, I can make dirt paths and farmland. Wait, there's actually one of these variants that I'm not sure how to get. Rooted dirt. Apparently it spawns under azalea trees, but there aren't any of those in the border. Oh, shoot. I do have one of these baby bushes. If I grow one... I did not expect that to work! Now there's one more dirt variant, the snowy grass block, but it's super rare to get. But I did manage to get my hands on one. This is one of the rarest blocks in Minecraft and warrants its completely own video. So if you're interested in seeing that video, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on to make sure you don't miss it. Anyway, I had a bunch of mud, which I can use to get packed mud and mud brick. Now I have to get all the cold blocks like powdered snow. I've been looking for it for so long. Where is... I think I found it! Ice. I'm just gonna let this water freeze. Boom! Now I need to get packed ice and blue ice. I didn't think about this, but packed ice requires 9 ice blocks to craft, which might take a little, but that's not as bad as blue ice, which takes 9 packed ice to craft, which is the equivalent of 81 ice blocks just for this one blue ice block. There's no way I'm doing that. Hopefully one of these mountains has ice on them, or I will literally cry myself to sleep again. Thank God! Oh yeah, and let's grab some snow too. Yeah, most of these blocks are just gonna be kind of annoying, like growing melons pumpkin, growing pumpkin, growing another pumpkin to turn into a carved pumpkin, and then growing another pumpkin to turn into a carved pumpkin, and then a jack-o'-lantern. Also growing enough wheat to make a hay bale. Now, one thing I didn't mention was that when I was outside of the border, I collected some frogs. This is important because frogs eat magma cubes and drop frog life. And I needed all 3 versions of frog in order to get all 3 frog life. Luckily, I was able to get them without a problem. And finally, there are mushroom blocks. Red, brown, white, and then whatever this is. That concludes the environmental block. Now, let's move on to the nether block. Most of these should be pretty easy, like netherrack, soul sand, soul soil, glowstone, nether port, polished nether ore, chiseled blackstone, cracked polished blackstone brick. Wow, that is a long name. Massive and finally, shroom lights. I love that sound. Even though I got all the nether blocks, I wouldn't be able to get any of the blocks in the end, because on this server, the end is closed. Meaning that endstone bricks, purple blocks, purple pillars, and the dragon egg were all unobtainable. Oh, and don't forget the end portal frame, which is another unobtainable block. But there's still one more block in the nether that I need to find. Ancient debris. Specifically, I need 36 pieces to make a netherite block. Actually, 37 since I need 1 left over to add to the collection. So I went live on my Twitch and spent hours mining for netherite. Until eventually, I had enough. Which reminds me. The deep slate ores. I hate my life. Well, I was about to hate it a lot more. Because even though most of these ores took a while to find, it quickly became clear that one of these would be nearly impossible. And no, it's not deep slate coal ore. Even though according to the internet, it's the rarest ore variant, but the one ore I couldn't find was deep slate emerald ore. It spawns somewhere between Y-16 and 0, typically underneath snowy mountains. I spent literal hours looking for this block, but no luck. So I got the world seed, and by selecting the area within the border, I concluded that there were only 2 blocks of deep slate emerald ore in the entire world. Yeah, this is gonna be pretty tough. But while hunting for deep slate emerald ore, this happened. What are the odds? Yeah, I happened to open a random chest at spawn and just found deep slate emerald ore. Like, you can't script this, man. But hey, add it to the collection. And while I was gathering deep slate copper ore, I was reminded that even though I have the copper block, I don't have the different versions of the copper block. Fun fact, the best way to oxidize copper is to keep it at least 4 blocks away from any other copper block. And so while I waited for this to happen, I watched the finale of Breaking Bad for the first time, and eventually I got exposed copper, weathered copper, and oxidized copper. Oh yeah, and I also got all of those versions in cut copper as well. I'm not excited for Minecraft 1.21, which adds even more copper blocks, because that is way too many copper blocks. And this brings us to the final stretch. The last couple of blocks were added in 1.12, the color update. This includes terracotta, glazed terracotta, concrete, powdered concrete, stained glass, and of course, wool. The wool blocks were some of the first 16 blocks ever added to Minecraft, so it only seems fitting to end with them. And that finalizes our list. And in conclusion, I don't know if we can ever get a count on how many blocks there really are in Minecraft. I only counted full Minecraft blocks that you can get in survival Minecraft, but even my count isn't perfect. But I ended with 384 blocks, which honestly was a huge journey. And if you want to see whatever crazy thing I do next, make sure you subscribe. In this video, did you notice how I didn't wear any armor, but somehow was invincible? Well, you can watch the full video about how I became immortal by clicking the video on the right, or you can check out the time I flooded the entire server on the left.